welcome you all in this educational video for subject business studies. Code number for this subject is 215. We are doing lesson number 9. Name of the lesson is Banking Services. This video is for secondary level. Let's begin our lesson with the difficult words from this lesson. Deposit. Borrow. Rate of interest. Withdrawal. Lend. Investment. Goods. Money lender. Business. Guidance. Industry. Import, export. Revenue. expenditure. Banking services. So far we have understood the words from the chapter. From here onwards, we will be discussing this topic, banking services. Let us first understand the meaning of bank. We all have experienced that banks are such places where people can deposit their savings with the assurance that they will be able to withdraw money from the deposits whenever required. So, we generally save our money in the bank so that it is saved from any burglary or any theft. And we all know and we all have confidence that the bank is a safe place where our money is safe and no other person can steal our money, and it is completely safe. Even we get some amount of interest on that saving. So bank is useful. We all have experienced it. And people who wish to borrow money for any business and other purposes, they can also get some amount of loan from the banks at a reasonable rate of interest, and that rate of interest would be added to their borrowed money when they will return it back to the bank. Banks generally give two assurances to the depositors. You can see their name A and B. The name A explains that it is a safety of deposits. Whatever amount I am depositing, that is safe. I will not be at any loss. I will be not at any financial loss. And the B point explains that withdrawal of deposits whenever needed. In case of any emergency or need, I can withdraw my deposited amount anytime. So this is the second type of depositors. Different kind of activities, and all these activities are carried by the banks. Let us understand them. Let us begin with the word banking. Banking as an activity, it involves acceptance of the deposits and lending or any investment of money. And it also facilitates business activities by providing money and certain services that help in exchange of goods and services. So bank is a place where it gives us loan and it supports us for any of our work. Let us take a break here.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने,
अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने,
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो,
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने,
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर। शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा और परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बात,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, स्वयं बने, हम
Let us begin our topic. We were discussing about the banking and bank related words. On screen you can see the words banks and money lenders, and here we will understand the difference between banks and money lenders. The basic difference between both is shown in the forms of entity. If we talk about banks, banks are organized institutions, and the money lenders, they are the individuals. So let us understand both the words in detail in some more terms, in some more different bases. The first one is in terms of activity. If we talk about banks, we can say that banking activities include acceptance of deposits as lending of money. So we can say that lending of money is a reason. On the other side, if we talk about money lender, which is a kind of individual person, so activities of money lenders may not include the acceptance of deposits because bank is a place where we can have faith and we can deposit any amount of money, but that cannot be considered equal in case of money lender. And if we talk about in terms of clients, then we can understand it this way, that banks meet the need of people in general and the business community in particular. On the other side, money lenders, they meet the needs of agriculturalists and the poor people. Because they only ask the money lenders for some amount of money whenever they need some financial help. So they both are different. Banks and money lenders are different. Let us understand them further in terms of security. Banks accept tangible and personal security against loans. So we can take any amount of loan by putting some of our property papers or any jewelry. So that can be kind of exchange amount. We are giving our something, some tangible property papers and taking the loan against it. On the other side, if we talk about money lenders, then money lender generally accept gold, jewelry or land as security for giving loan. That is based on promise. So when we return our loan amount, then we can take back our jewelry, gold or anything which we had given as a security. The fourth point explains in terms of process of recovery of loan. In banks, the process of recovery is flexible. We know that there is a certain amount of rate of interest which we need to give, but that is not strictly needs to be followed. That can become flexible as per the need or as per the situation. But in case of money lender, the process of recovery of loan or whatever the amount is, that the process is rigid, because that is only one person, individual person, and we need to follow the rules and terms and conditions. If we talk about some more detail in terms of interest rate, banks give loan because they get interest, and interest is charged by banks on the rules and on all the loans which are governed by the RBI. But on the other side, the money lender, the rate of interest is decided by the money lender, and normally it is very high. So in this case, the risk is upon the person who is taking the loan, who is borrowing the money. Banks are government organization and money lender is an individual. Let us now understand the role of banking. The first point explains that it encourages the saving habits amongst people and thereby makes funds available for productive use. And also it acts as an intermediary between the people who are having surplus money and those requiring money for various business activities. So we can say that bank is a mediator between the two bodies. For the person who need money and for the organization who give loan and they support financially and they want to have some intermediation support of the bank. Point number 3 explains that it facilitates business transactions through receipts and payments by checks instead of currency. In banks, the payments are transacted with the help of bank rules. Fourth point explains that it provides loans and advances to businessmen for short term and long term purposes. Fifth point, it explains, it also facilitates import-export transactions. And it also helps in the national development by providing credit to farmers and helping small scale industries and self-employed people as well as to the large business houses, which leads to balanced economic development. So in a way we can say that bank supports the financial development of the country, of the state in every way possible. And also it supports the economic development. It is because of economic development that we are getting good amount of investment from the different stakeholders. Point number 7. It explains that banking helps in raising the standards of living of people in general by providing loans for purchase of consumer durable goods, houses, automobiles, etc. Let us understand the types of banks. We earlier understood the word banking. So on screen you can see the different types of banks. On the top the word is written is types of bank. Then there is one central bank, developmental bank, and specialized bank. Let us understand them further. This is the first kind of bank, which is central bank. A bank which is entrusted with the function of guiding and regulating the banking system of a country is known as central bank. Such a bank does not deal with the general public. For example, RBI, Reserve Bank of India, is the central bank. And all the banks, they follow the rules of RBI. The central bank provides guidance to the other banks whenever there is any issue and they face any problem, then they get the help of RBI. RBI, the central bank, they guide and solve their queries. The central bank maintains records of government revenue and also the expenditures which is done under various heads. So we can say that all the expenditures and all the investments, all the revenues, which is the money spent on different works, different projects, so they take a note of it and they maintain records of the government. And also they advise the government on different monetary and credit policies, and they also decide on the interest rates. The rates should be increased or decreased or whatever the economy is. They go through the details, they analyze everything, and they decide the bank rates for bank deposits and bank loans. So the central banks advises all these things. And another important function of the central bank is the issuance of currency notes and also regulating their circulation in the country by different methods. There is only RBI and no other bank than the central bank who can issue the currency. So there is only one body, they issue the currency and they regulate all these things, is the central bank. So this is another kind of bank, commercial banks. Commercial banks are banking institutions that accept deposits and grant short-term loans and advances to their customers. In addition to giving short-term loans, commercial banks also give medium-term and long-term loan to business enterprises. Commercial banks. Nowadays, some of the commercial banks are also providing housing loan on a long-term basis to individuals. So this is also one of the important role of the commercial bank. We will take a break here.
प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने
अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बात
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने स्वयं बने हम
Let us continue after the break. We were discussing the commercial banks and the usage of commercial banks. Now here we can see the types of commercial banks. Basically, there are three types of commercial banks. The first one is public sector bank, the second one is private sector bank, and the third one is foreign bank. We will understand all these three in details in further slides. So this is the first one, which is public sector banks. These banks are those banks where majority stake is held by the government of India, or we can say the Reserve Bank of India. Here you can see few names of the banks. These are all Indian banks like State Bank of India, Union Bank, Corporation Bank, Bank of Baroda, Punjab National Bank, Canara Bank, Bank of India, and Oriental Bank of Commerce. All these are Indian banks. So they are all the list of government banks of India. So first one we understood. Now this is the second type of bank, which is private sector bank. private sector banks majority of share the capital of the bank, which is invested by the private individuals. And these banks are registered as companies with limited liability. We will understand private sector bank in further slides. Here you can see some of the private banks like the Jammu and Kashmir Bank Limited, then ICICI Bank Limited, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, Development Credit Bank Limited, RBL Bank, Bharat Overseas Bank Limited, Global Trust Bank, etc. All these are the names of the private bank. Now this is the third type of bank, which is foreign banks. Banks are registered and have their headquarters in a foreign country, but they operate their branches in our country. So this is another kind of bank which is known as foreign banks. Some of the foreign banks who are operating in our country, they are Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation. In brief, we call them as HSBC. Then there is a Citibank, also American Express Bank, Standard and Chartered Bank. The number of foreign banks which are operating in our country has increased since the financial sector reforms in the year 1991. So 1999 onwards, the number of foreign banks increased in India. Now let us understand what is development bank. Business often requires medium and sometimes long-term capital for purchase of different items used in our factories like machinery and equipments, for using latest technology or for expansion and modernization. So all these financial assistance is provided by the development bank. For the upgradation of the industrial equipments, we need some financial support. So development banks, they help in the long-term capital investment. And they also undertake other development measures like public sector bank comprise 19 nationalized banks and also the State Bank of India and its 7 associate banks. They subscribe to the shares and debentures issued by the companies in case of undersubscription of the issue by the public. So whenever there is any requirement, they support us. The Industrial Finance Corporation of India, which is known as IFCI, and the State Financial Corporation, which is SFCS, they are all examples of development banks in India. So far we have understood the lesson, and I hope you all enjoyed the lesson explanation. Thank you.